Welcome, fans, to our latest Harrell Wrestling Talk episode right here on the HWT network. I'm your host, Jonathan.
And I am the one and only Jacob Harrell. And this week we got all kinds of news for the WWE mostly, but our special interview for this week will also be Rip Rogers. So we're actually going to take a look maybe towards the back of the history of wrestling and not so much the WWE. So that should be interesting, as well as our next week. We're very excited to have Diamond Dallas Page on the show. DDP himself will be on here, self-high-fiving, and some yoga.
We'll talk some DDP yoga, as well as hopefully get some WCW talk. Anytime we can get that in, we'll jump all over that. So make sure you listen next week as well. But to start this week out, we're going to go with a little Raw review. We had, to start the evening, I guess, Ziggler defeated Cesaro and The Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship, so your boy got a victory there. We had a Divas, pretty much a total Divas match there. We won't even go into that. That was, I don't even know if you could call it a match. Bo Dallas won. Brie Bella won. The Slater Gator, that was another thing you could debate on a match or whatever, but Alicia Fox won, Sheamus and Dean Ambrose and John Cena won. Jacob, have you had a chance to watch Raw?
Yeah, actually, I watched it this morning. I enjoyed it. I was entertained throughout. I was sitting there thinking, I was watching Ambrose, and he is the reality era or the PG era's version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's not as outlandish, but he is building up all this momentum. Best part of Raw was he's in there throwing all the stuff out, the free merchandise, and Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury come up to the stage, and he's like, oh, goodness, they brought the cruiserweights in. I just started dying laughing. But, yeah, I was entertained, and I think it was good. Bo Dallas won, and I'm believing that this is going to be a role for him.
It needs to they need to do something, because they took away his undefeated streak. They figured, I'm guessing that wasn't going to work for him. And then you hadn't seen him for a while. And so I'm excited to get Bo leaving back in the episodes, and definitely looking forward to that. Now, did you enjoy the match with your boy Ziggler?
Yeah, that was a fantastic match. Adding Cesaro adds another element to it. I'm glad they kept the title, though, with Ziggler, because I'm not a big fan of every single week switching positions. So Miz, Ziggler, who wins, because it kind of, to me, tarnishes the prestige of the belt. But Raw was located in Chicago this week, home of CM Punk. And when Stephanie came out, very first word came out of her mouth, the crowd started chanting, CM Punk, CM Punk. But Stephanie silenced the crowd by saying, I don't know why you guys cheer for a quitter, but I finally realized why. Because you're all quitters. Went silent. Was that burn to Chicago's crowd an example of Stephanie's brilliance?
Yeah, I mean, they obviously knew that it was going to be loud. It was going to happen. They knew this back. Was it Raw? They had another Raw that was just in Chicago or something else a couple months ago. They knew it was going to happen. They played his music and had Paul Heyman come out there and talk out his butt for, 10 minutes or whatever. But I think this is something that they're going to expect maybe for another year or so, which really blows my mind. But I thought it was great. The only thing better, is to almost stick it to him and have Stephanie comes out there talking about quitters, and all of a sudden CM Punk's music plays, and then you have, Damian Sandow come out, or, Wade Barrett, oh, I'm sorry, I got some bad news, or, something like that would be even greater. But I'm glad I'm over CM Punk chants. But that being said, CM Punk, if you're available, I'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah, well, so first of all, Jonathan, that was about 8 months ago or 7 months ago
Okay.
because it was before WrestleMania.
I can say the other day, and you know what I was talking about.
Back in the day, Wednesday. But to me, there was no other CM Punk chance. At least I didn't hear any during the Divas matches, but I don't count that. They just do it to basically poke fun at them. But when AJ comes out, of course they're always going to have that. But yeah, it's time to move on. Stephanie, I don't know why Stephanie did it. It was basically to keep her options open. She came out with a statement. We tweeted about it that she said never say never about CM Punk, but CM Punk said never about 12 times in one interview about not coming back. So.
Yeah, but I thought it was the right way to go, and I think if they really want to close it shut and not have to bring it up again, then tell us what happened, explain, bring it out to the light of day, and we'll go from there. Now, one thing that has been noticed, again, we did not see anything from Brock Lesnar and haven't seen him since the Night of Champions pay-per-view. And it's shaping up just like last month where we hadn't seen the champ since SummerSlam until the go-home episode of Raw right before the pay-per-view. Do you like the way that they're handling this kind of championship run with a part-timer, Jacob? Or do you say, because we have something to go off of with The Rock, 2 years ago?
Well, I'm not a big fan of part-timers, obviously. I've had a long history of me complaining about it. But this shows the brilliance of Paul Heyman when he brought up that every time that Brock Lesnar will show up is almost a monumental moment. And it's really true because we're not being flooded. We're not being polluted with Brock Lesnar. So when Brock Lesnar's music hits, you're like sitting up in your seat and you're like getting goosebumps. Oh, crap, something's going down. And it's not like he's going to wrestle for two months, go away for 6. He might come back after a month from now, but they're going to keep his angle going. So right now, the way they're handling it, I'm okay. We'll see after basically TLC how I think about it.
Yeah, and I mean but it's almost like, I don't know do you think that they're almost like demoting the WWE Heavyweight Championship match just because you don't see it on display every week?
Not being the center of attention would be the biggest thing because usually that's the storyline. I don't know. His character to me is the prize fighter. He's the prize fighter. There has to be someone worthy of fighting this prize fighter. And right now, I'd honestly say the way they built him up and how high he is, if John Cena's not next in line, Reigns is hurt, who's the next to fight him? I mean, Orton, if he goes face, would be the only other big name that really could stand a chance against him.
Yeah, and it's almost like you said, not being the center of attention. The name alone, the belt alone is going to draw its own attention, and they're trying to focus on stories outside of that and let the belt just be the belt and bring people in.
The Wyatt family promos are finally back. This time, the American Horror Story-like promos wasn't focused on the leader, Bray Wyatt. It was centered around Luke Harper. It looks like the WWE is finally giving the internet fans' favorite Wyatt this singles push he deserves. Are you excited, Jonathan, for this kind of, he called it, peekaboo, you're doomed, Luke Harper?
I am excited. I've loved the Wyatts. I've thought, they've done great. From the very start, I thought this was a great gimmick. But then I think as time goes on, eventually you're going to have to break these guys up. And I would love to see a Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt match. I think that could go on for a couple months. But I think that, both him and I don't know. That was really bad. I'll edit some of that out. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. They're eventually, if the tease that we will talk about later does not fulfill, that WrestleMania could possibly be the prodigal son, Luke Harper versus the teacher, the godfather almost, in Bray Wyatt. But I wish, though, give them the title for the tag team. I wanted that so bad for so many months. The problem I have with Luke Harper, they're going to give him this monumental push. Say, give him the Intercontinental title. Are they going to treat him like Curtis Axel? Are they going to treat him like Big E? Is he going to get this big push? Look at Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt looked like the heavens were opening up and they were just going to give him everything. And then they've kind of buried him. And that's my fear, is the Wyatts have a history of being buried with Bray and now maybe with Luke.
Now, what if I say Luke Harper versus Rusev? Would you get on board with that?
Oh, that would be a fantastic match. Yeah, I would be 100% as long as it's played outright.
Yeah, as long as I think Harper in the end eventually gets, a slight chance where you think he could beat Rusev. I think that's Rusev's biggest problem right now, though. Now, we were talking about Bray Wyatt. It's been quiet for him as of late. He had the feud with John Cena, then Chris Jericho, all leading up to not being booked at Night of Champions. Now, I bring this up because he tweeted earlier on in the week. Now, if you follow him on Twitter, you get all kinds of crazy stuff. So he tweeted, "It exists in all of us. We are the ants. Destroy the scorpion. Be heard." Now, if you can't take anything out of that, at least rumors have took that Scorpion getting linked to the icon Sting. Would you be pumped for a Bray Wyatt Sting match at WrestleMania?
Oh my gosh. I was like salivating at the thought of Chris Jericho versus Wyatt. I am like going to pass out thinking about Sting versus Bray Wyatt. Can you imagine the vignettes, these video packages that just Bray Wyatt talking about the icon, the fallen hero coming back, and just basically all of his propaganda? That would be amazing in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it would be great because I think that they could handle it perfectly. Sting's going to come out, have a baseball bat, not say anything, supposed to be intimidating, scary, and it wouldn't sit well with me if John Cena was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen?" like scared, where you could have Bray Wyatt laughing at him and saying, "Oh, okay, what do you think you're doing?" And I think that it would work perfectly.
Yeah, this is how I want them to handle it. I want the Wyatt families to like beat up somebody, and then all of a sudden you see something in the distance in the Raptors, and it's Sting. He comes down with the bat, and it's almost like the NWO where he has to take on the whole family, and he's kind of the one guy that could do it at the moment. And they will, if he comes out to the ring, they always attack him and stuff. And that's how I want it to be. I don't know about you. I don't want Sting to say a single word. I just want him to go, woo, and that's it.
I think that would work great. I like that idea. And stretch it out. I would go a couple months with maybe seeing a glimpse of him in the rafters, maybe planting somebody near ringside to like grab a hold of, Bray Wyatt or something, and like have them like pointing at the rafters or something, and kind of getting this like build up as well.
Mm-hmm. I say, for me, give it 3 months. That's what I say. Give it 3 months. Have them do it before Royal Rumble. That's the ideal timeline for me.
Who's your top for Sting right now? If you could pick one person for Sting to face at WrestleMania, who you got?
I'd still say Undertaker, even though people would say, "Oh, he's unhealthy. The match wouldn't be good." Look at Hogan versus John Cena. Or no, Hogan versus The Rock. That match was a horrible match. He shut off the volume, but the fans would go crazy for The Undertaker. It'd be either that or The Rock, honestly.
The Rock. Now, see, I like the idea of Bray Wyatt. That's really high. I maybe have to go with Cena as well, just so he could carry the match a lot with Sting's age. But I think you were touching on some good ones as well.
So I'm going to give a lot of numbers here, so stay with me. If you didn't know, the numbers are in for the WWE Network. With the last 6-month agreement, or the first 6-month agreement coming to an end, Bleacher Report stated that the network has up to 700,000 subscribers, which is up 161,000 subscribers since WrestleMania. To date, it would be up to 828,000 subscribers, but 128,000 failed to pay in one way or another. With the budget cuts for the network, including Tough Enough and Legends House, they only need right now 500,000 subscribers to make a profit. So they are making a slight profit off of it. Why do you think, Jonathan, the underwhelming amount of subscribers are still occurring?
They've got to push back in the UK, so they haven't started the UK yet. They got to get rid of this free trial stuff. I think that really hurts them. Just for the fact, you get a free trial a week, you get on there, you watch whatever you want, you get caught up, you could binge watch for a week, and then all of a sudden you're done. The only thing you're missing is pay-per-views. And I would like to see them actually come out with a cable channel as well. That's what they've got in Canada. You can only get it through a cable provider, and I think that would help the people that don't have high-speed internet get them views as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, the top shows on the network are all original content, whether it's documentaries or it's the shows like Legends House. They have Slam Cities also on there. To me, instead of postponing maybe Tough Enough or Legends House, you need to kind of make more of those, and that will help offset just the pay-per-views and then original content, and then that will help maybe bring in some more people.
And it's kind of funny too, because you look at it as, oh, well, I don't really like the network, what they're putting out. I don't think it's very good. But the only way you can change that is if you subscribe, you give them monthly income and say, okay, I'm on board. Here's your money. Bring me something better. And that's hard for people to understand, giving money and not getting an instant return.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I kind of want to see is, you remember the old VHSs they had for WCW, and we had Goldberg, Who's Next?
Yep.
Bring even that kind of stuff. I would be so pumped for that. You can watch it on YouTube, yes. But, I mean, they had Macho Man, they had Sting. Bring some more WCW content that maybe isn't just directly the show Nitro.
Now, there's been more talks about the latest WWE superstar to go movie star actor Batista. The WWE is expecting him to return around WrestleMania time again and have a farewell match with Triple H. Now, Jacob, do you like this news on how this is coming more of a lead than a rumor? And how would you like to go ahead and bring him back if he does?
Well, the only thing I don't like is I don't see Batista as a babyface. He's going to have to come back and he's going to fight the Authority. Maybe he'll throw some promos out about how they weren't using him properly, the Authority, all this. And I mean, I kind of like the concept. The only person I could see a Batista farewell match with would be Triple H, because of the chemistry and the history they've had. But I mean, like I said, who are you going to cheer for Batista?
See, that's the thing.
I won't cheer for Batista.
They have to figure this out, and they have to figure it out now if they're going to have this, because when you take the Authority role, you're heel for that whole entire time you're in Authority. And the only way that, and see, I don't even know if they could even get Vince McMahon to come out and strip this person of the belt and talk bad about Daniel Bryan and then have Triple H come out and save the day. I still don't even think that would have enough to where people are going to cheer for Triple H and boo for Batista.
Yeah, the problem is with Batista is, if Daniel Bryan was continuing to wrestle, fans would have forgot what happened, and then maybe you would have a shot, because Daniel Bryan's been around long enough. He'd have some championship shots. Okay, we forgive you, Batista. But he gets injured right away, so you still have the same problem. People are like, you still screwed Daniel Bryan, and that was like 7 months ago. I don't think it's going to work. I still think people's going to boo him. They will make fun of him as much as possible, and Batista will live on forever.
And the only way he's going to get cheered is when he comes back and he's in the Rumble and he gets thrown out. You'll hear the loudest cheer that he'll ever get for the rest of his wrestling career.
The perfect way to bring him back, if he's going heel, is hit number 30, like you talked about with Damian Sandow, and you're thinking, yes, 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 and then Batista's music hit. That place would go bananas if Batista came out and won. Oh my gosh. But all right, so this next headline is no joke. 100% serious on this. Multiple sources, reliable internet sources, are saying the Bella Twins will clash in the Hell in the Cell. Reports are saying Lesnar will not appear in the next pay-per-view, leaving the name of the pay-per-view wide open for that match. Most fans on Twitter, at least, want to see Ambrose versus Rollins in the Cell. Could WWE make this work, Jonathan?
I was getting to think about this. I don't know if they've ever had like even a Divas cage match. And I'd have to go back and look, but I don't even know if they've had that. So it's going to be uncharted territory for them. And I don't know if this would actually work just for the fact that when you think Hell in a Cell, you think brutal, you think blood, you think, battered. And, I don't see... I couldn't see the Divas match going that way. Now I am curious about, the reports that Lesnar not being there. That kind of, I don't know, like we talked about earlier, if they're trying to, hey, the title's going to have its own buzz just with that. We can try to build some of these other things. But to go on with other stuff that you said, I do like the Ambrose Rollins match in the Cell. I think that'd be a perfect way to end the feud between them, where they can't run, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think actually Lita and Victoria back in the day had a steel cage for girls, but I don't think they're the girls that would make it work. They are story-based fighters, so they would wrestle and they would tell a story. I think Paige and AJ, they could make it work, I think, because they're wrestlers and they would make any situation work. But you said the brutality of what Hell in a Cell is supposed to be, I don't really want to see the Diva. And I think Ambrose and Rollins are on such a hot note. I can't imagine putting them up on top of the Hell in a Cell cage and see what would happen.
Yeah. Now, for our final headline, Jacob, you actually sent me a list of, because we were excited about getting DDP on the show, and you sent me a list of 5 people, the bucket list, that you would like to interview. And to be honest with you, it was awful. I couldn't believe it. I had to bring this to the light of day on the show. So I figured, you know what, we could take some time and give you some time actually to come up with a better list. So let's hear 5 names. Who you got that you want to see come on our show that you would love to have an interview with?
All right, first one would be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the People's Champ.
Mm-hmm.
I would have Kurt Angle. It's true. I would have Rowdy Piper, the man who created WrestleMania 1. I would have Hurricane Helmsley stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. And I would have Cyndi Lauper, the one who also created right beside Rowdy Piper, the hype behind WrestleMania 1. It's a proven fact. Watch the documentary.
So you're telling me that WrestleMania was a success because of 1, Piper, and 2, Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, it's a proven fact. Look at a documentary on WrestleMania. If it wasn't for The Rock and Wrestling Connection for what is the TV show called? The movie MTV, whatever.
Yeah, MTV.
If it wasn't for MTV and it wasn't for her, because Rowdy Piper had a
full of it. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm cutting you off.
Okay,
Nobody.
take it.
All right, The Rock, number 1. I think we're glad we're agreeing on that. That'd be awesome. Number 2, I can't believe you left him off, Sting. You put Hurricane on there, but you didn't put Sting on there. Third, easy third place for me, Hulk Hogan. How could you not want to talk to Hulk Hogan and even have him do a shoot where, he's getting pumped up and he's just going off? 4 would be Vince McMahon. I would love to talk with Vince McMahon just to hear some insight from him. Almost, not so much of a wrestler. And then number 5, my boy John Cena. How would you pick Cindy over John Cena?
There's a lot of reasons I would pick Cindy over John Cena. Holy crap. Rowdy, look it up. Rowdy Piper.
I thought we finished
Cyndi Lauper is the reason that Hulk Hogan came in, saved the day. He made the story. Cindy said it. and then Hogan stole the credit.
No, I'm going to have to find a new co-host because it's getting ridiculous. If that's who you honestly want to have on the show.
I've been looking at her. I'm going to call her agent. I found her agent's number. I'm going to make this work.
Call her agent, and she'll be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. That was just a thing to fill time.
Our guest this week wrestled everywhere in the world. Wrestled in Canada for Stu Hart, in Europe, Asia, Japan, Puerto Rico, Ohio Valley Wrestling, NWA, and WCW. But currently, he's a trainer at Ohio Valley Wrestling. He's influenced almost every veteran you can think of in the World Wrestling Entertainment, including John Cena, Randy Orton, and Dave Bautista. We have Rip Rogers on the show. Rip, thanks for coming on and taking some time off your busy day.
Okay, you're welcome.
Now, we talked about this before we dive into the wrestling. I'm a middle school teacher at an inner city PE or inner city Indianapolis school, and I teach PE. Tell us a little bit about your experience, the little stint you had as a PE teacher in Union City, I believe.
Yeah, 1 year in Union City, Indiana. I was a football coach there and taught at the middle school there. So I taught 5th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, PE, health, the whole gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Now, I saw your record for the football, and it seemed like you had some pretty good success there.
Well, let's just say I came at the right place, right time. Man, I got the hell out of Dodge.
Now, what did your class look like? Did Rip Rogers come in, long blonde hair, the short shorts, headband on with a whistle, or what did your PE classes look like?
No, I had a long black-haired afro.
Now, what'd you usually do with the kids? Was it just the push-up setups, the stereotypical climb the rope kind of classes?
I tried to have as much basketball as possible.
Yeah, the kids love that. All right, so with your education, you went to school obviously for teaching. Did that kind of plant the bug into being a trainer and to teach some of these up-and-coming wrestlers?
No, I just got No, everybody, you go to college, you didn't want to go to the Vietnam War, you might get shot.
That's a good reason, man.
Yeah, so college was basically a 4-year goofing off and not having to have a real job.
Now, back in the late 70s and early 80s, what made wrestling different for you than other things growing up?
What made it different? Well, it was just something you liked. Mm-hmm. Now, I come from a small town, from Seymour, Indiana. So here I was in southern Indiana, Redneckville. And I'm liking wrestling and lifting weights, which nobody did. Mm. So I was like a complete freak.
Now, you got into the wrestling in the early 70s, and you talked on Colt Cabana's podcast about some of these big names that you wrestled with, including Ric Flair. Did you realize at the time when you were younger that, holy crap, I'm working with Ric Flair, or was it just another match to you?
Just another match. No, as Watley told me, I don't care who you're with, it's all the same, And so, first couple times anywhere you meet somebody, well, I saw him in a magazine or this or that. I know who it is. I know what's all the history. But then after 5 matches, it's another match.
Mm-hmm. Now, you had, a lot of accomplishments over the years. Does anything kind of stand out to you that, even still today that it meant a lot to you getting to that spot? Or?
Well, when you're going somewhere, you're just going along, and you don't realize what the hell you did till later, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're looking up there and I'm saying, I'm 60 years old, right? And I go, well, I got in this and didn't know anybody. It wasn't like my dad got me in. And I said, I went to these territories and won bodybuilding contests by myself, and then all of a sudden you just start shaking your head of all the stuff you've done and how you got there and how you met people and whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of funny.
Yeah, and you've talked about before that a lot of the people that wrestled when you were younger, a lot of them passed away since with whatever it was, steroids or injuries, and you're still kicking and you seem pretty healthy.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
At least you sound like it to me. So now let's get in a little to OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. You've wrestled tons of different organizations, different promotions. Was that a big help to get all these different influences and then as a trainer now use them and kind of give as much experience as possible to your students?
Well, it's funny. Each regional territory had a different style, a different feel, a way of doing things. And now it ain't that way. You go down and work for Eddie Graham and Tadper or Crockett or the Old Sheik or Don Owens or Stu Hart or Neil Dupre or for Bob Geigel, for Bill Watts, for Ole Anderson in Atlanta, for Fuller, for Nick Goulas, Roy Wells, for the Sheik, or for Poppos, for the Bruiser, for Roy Shires, for Al Tomko, for Vince Sr., for the Rougeos, for Carlos Colon. The list goes on and on. Every place was different. Now you just have one style, a rotten style, and it's a rib.
Would you like to see, more companies, more almost the territorial thing come back then?
No, it ain't never coming back. No, they ruined it. That's the way it is. Mm-hmm. People today see what they watch on television. They don't realize those guys are rotten. Oh, they're the greatest in the world. It's like playing the NBA, Major League Baseball. There's WWE, and they're on TV.
Mm-hmm. Now,
they're guys. They're guys that used to you'd wrestle 3,500 matches in about 10 years, and you were ready to go to like a major territory because you learn. And every match you learn from an old guy helping a young guy, and you had failure. Hell, they get guys, they take them out of the performance center, which is like first grader against first grader. All of a sudden, they put them on TV and they're star. People don't know they're rotten. Then all of a sudden, 3 years later, they're fired, and they're still 5 years from even getting it to begin with, and they're gone because they're overexposed. Because hell, you're overexposed. Mm-hmm. In any sport, you're sick of seeing their act.
Yeah. Now, do you think the internet could kind of bring back the territorial? It's not, I guess, with any promotions with like AAW, OVW. You don't think so?
No. No. There's the only people who know what the hell's going on is they're either old or dead. So, and then got these marks running it. Marks are marks. It'd be like me watching a lot of football on TV. So all of a sudden, I'm a football owner. And I'm telling people what to do, and I'm changing rules, and I'm changing the way things done, like Vince McMahon just ruined pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the way it is.
And I've seen what you're talking about. You see some guys that, you've never heard of that all of a sudden are on the shows, and then next thing, a couple months later, you don't see them anymore, and you don't even know what happened to them. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Well, you don't know who they are. You just don't know. As a fan, you just know they're not as interesting. You don't know why. Because they're not any good. Mm-hmm. And no matter how much they replay it, no matter how much they shove them down your throat, The Miz is The Miz. And as a rib, he can do everything in wrestling except work babyface or heel.
Mm-hmm. Now, and also I'm 25, my brother's 27. We've grown up, and this is all we've known too. So, like you said, everyone that knows.
You can't help it if you're stupid. Wrestling wise, because that's all you've seen. That's like guys that I teach. I'll teach them stuff, and I said, "Don't worry, you can't see this on TV, and you won't. I can't get on you about getting it, but I teach an art." And the ones that go with me, hell, I had two guys do a 2-hour match on the internet. 2 hours. Because it's a joke to me. Because I used to teach somebody, oh my, it's like WWE. Hell, they go They have a 30-minute Ironman match. What a rib. An Ironman match going 30 minutes. Because they're not any good. Here's your script. Now go do it and go memorize it. Not their fault. They're just doing as they're told. Take some guy off the street. He's an ex-NFL player. Well, hell, I wouldn't tell anybody. Hell, I'm in this to be a wrestler. You know, if he's in the NFL, you think, oh, he's an ex-WWE player, and they don't give a shit. Why? If he's any good, why ain't he in the NFL then? Oh, he got cut. Well, we don't want to tell people that, you know. Well, in other words, he was on the taxi squad, you know. Well, anyway.
Now, you did touch a little bit on training. How did you actually get into training?
Well, you just trained out of necessity. Nobody. That's like when you're in the business. When you're a wrestler, you don't give a shit to anybody else. You're out there having a good time. You want to get in, get out, not get hurt, and help your opponent along. So all of a sudden, I was thrust into a training role, and most of the stuff I'm doing, it's not me doing it. It's what I evolved into from all the old guys helping me in the car, telling me what to do and what not to do. And instead of letting you make 30 years worth of experience, it's like this. I'm showing you how to make Colonel Sanders chicken. Here's a secret recipe for Coke. You can try and change it all the way you want to, but you're not going to. This is the easiest way to do it. You're going to get the most reaction, and it's safer. If you go any other way, you're going to get hurt. Your opponent's going to get hurt. It's not going to make any sense. It's going to be stupid. But feel free to do all that, and then later you're going to go, no matter who I was to. Well, that old guy, he was right. How did he know? Well, I've already made every mistake there was. I got in the business, there wasn't any wrestling school. So that's just the way it was. You weren't in a wrestling business unless you were related to somebody or somebody's next door neighbor or whatever. It was just such a closed shop.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you had any negative feedback from promoters or owners on certain ways you train? Because you're a straight pistol. It's this way, or it's I wouldn't say it's wrong, but you can get hurt. Did you ever get feedback that were negative from people?
I didn't give a shit what people thought. I'm just telling you the way it is. And I tell guys, I said, I'm going to teach you all this stuff. And then if you get a job with WWE, you just forget it all and do as they tell you. You're just this is a trained SEAL monkey act or whatever. This is not real. You don't have to. I said, if you got average hand-eye coordination, average athletic ability, average intelligence, you can get this. This ain't brain surgery. Anybody can do it. Oh, look at that move. I said, you take a dropout in a first-grade gymnastics thing, and any human being can do this. This is not hard. It is not real.
Now, with training people, we've heard I guess the quote "it factor" when it comes to seeing people early on, first impressions. Has that ever mattered to you? Like when you see somebody, you're thinking, "Oh man, that's going to be the next big thing."
No, never. No, because I've seen guys that you thought was pretty good, and they never get any better. And I've seen guys that were the shits, and then all of a sudden they get really, really good. And in the wrestling business, there's two kinds of people. There's people that think they're good and they ain't worth a shit. And there's people that really don't have any confidence and they're a whole lot better than they think they are.
And I'm sure a lot of it, too, is just the will of, wanting it and not being, satisfied and just happy with where they're at as well.
Well, the thing about wrestling is it's not real. And I tell everybody, you got a 99.99 chance of failure of making your goal. It's like me wanting to play point guard for the Pacers. It probably ain't going to happen. And I said, look, when you're talking about major wrestling stars in the United States, there's about 50 of them. And, okay, there's more governors than there are wrestling stars. And you know what I mean? You got one. Just think if you got one wrestler from each state, you got 50 wrestlers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how unique you have to be to make it. So how are you going to make it? A, if you're not related to somebody, married to somebody, somebody's buddy, a wrestler's kid, or some freak like the Big Show, or you got some kind of notoriety because you were on a game show, or this guy played NFL football or whatever. It's tough to make because they can make a star out of anybody.
Mm-hmm. Is that why Rip Rogers wore the pink shorts and the blonde hair when he wrestled to kind of stand out?
I just did it because I wanted to.
And that's perfect. And did you ever get any negative flack for that?
Well, hell, that's why you do that, to get negative flack. I was a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm better than you and I can wear what I want kind of concept.
Well, it's just the whole thing about it is that in the wrestling business, 24/7, you're a character. You stay in character. You didn't go around and be yourself and really talk normal and act normal. Everything in the wrestling business was a rib. When you're around each other, it's all a rib. The whole thing is, about 99% of anything that's come out of anybody's mouth is a rib to wind you up, or it's a lie. And you just think of it as such, and you don't care.
Okay. So what's Ohio Valley Wrestling doing recently? They're still doing live events. What's coming up for them?
Well, tomorrow I'm going there. They're shooting a pilot for a production company. Well, I've been there Monday and Tuesday, and they're there tomorrow. They're doing a pilot for a reality show with OVW, and they're trying to sell this thing to CMT. So they've been, and so as a matter of fact, tomorrow I got to go there and I got to teach class. So they're going to have me on there as the old instructor, whatever. And I can cuss all I want to and yell and scream and do whatever, because all they got to do is not air it. They're just going to make footage and try to make a pilot tape out of all this stuff.
That's awesome. And it's all about developing. Is it going to be rookies or is it some of the veterans too?
I have no idea. We're just doing footage. And when it's like anything else, you can make a movie and you have no idea how it's going to be put together. Right. It's going to be probably all total bullshit or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They follow guys around, this and that and whatever. It's like any wrestling show, a Divas show, whatever. Some stuff could be all real, but you wouldn't believe it anyway. Or it could be all phony, and they can tell you it's real. It don't matter, but it's on TV, so it must have some truth to it,
Well, we'll definitely have to look out for that, and hopefully things will work good for you guys. And now, are you on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that?
I don't do Facebook, but I do Twitter at Hustler2754.
All right. Well, thank you. Is there any upcoming events coming for OVW?
Hell, there's always upcoming events. We're like that, and tomorrow they're doing their TV show. They've done a TV show for I don't know, hell, how many years? Probably almost 800 episodes or something like that. So, they got TV shows, and they got they usually run usually about 2 spot shows a week, plus the TV. So guys learn to wrestle there. So when I show up, they're scared, because I'll walk into TV, which I went a couple weeks ago, and they're in there doing their prearranged bullshit like the stars of WWE do, because that's all they know. They don't know how to have a match, and I just say, okay, go this. Okay, here's a finish. Go 12 minutes, and that's it, and call it in the ring. The guys that go to my class, they can do it, but when they get around other people, they bend because the other people can't do it. So then it's the old same match of doing, here's your script. I never in my life got in a wrestling match where it was rehearsed. And then now today, that's all they do. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to wrestle. No. I'd work with somebody. I'd say, hey, we're going out tonight. I know what you can do. I'll call in the ring. See you there. And that's it. I'm not interested in your opinion. I'm the heel. I know what the hell's going on. If you just shut up, we'll be all right. If you open your mouth, you're like, I'm the quarterback. I'll run this football team. I'm not interested in what the guard has to say or the tight end. Just shut up and do as you're told, and we'll be okay. So, but anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Fans, definitely check out Ohio Valley Wrestling at ovwrestling.com. You can watch live events there on YouTube. Also, I believe they upload all the shows. So, all right. Thank you, Rip, for coming on.
All right. You have a good day.
So that was, definitely a different view, I guess you would say, from wrestling today and then, wrestling from the past.
Yeah, and we are so almost like zombies when we watch it because we're so used to it. And like Rip said, we don't know any different. And I guess for me, he said that you can't control that you're stupid. So it's interesting to get a different a different perspective on things.
And I would be curious to see the reality show. That's anything. And I watch a lot of these documentaries on YouTube. Where you can see outside of wrestling. Or not so much inside wrestling through a different perspective and not so much on the WWE network or not somebody that's wanting the wrestling to be shown.
Right, or make money off of it.
Yeah. So, but speaking about the WWE network, we had a new Monday Night Wars this week and also a new countdown. The countdown was most stylish ring attire ever worn by a WWE superstar. So I'm guessing that we'll probably see some some Ric Flair on there.
Yep, bathrobes.
Yeah, so the different things like that.
Macho Man sleeves that have the whatever you call them, the strings on them.
Yeah, and so that'll be different episode, more of a fashion episode, but I'm looking forward. I haven't got to see the Stone Cold episode yet, and I was completely wrong. We talked last week, and I was kind of bummed that it was the ECW Monday Night War, and I was like, I don't know. But then after watching it, I was like, man, this episode was awesome.
Yeah, that one to me was the best one because it's something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I forgot they had their own network, and you don't realize how much of an impact they had until Paul Heyman basically tells you, crap, WCW would have been nothing without ECW.
Now, on the WWE shop this week, you can go there to support us, buy anything through our links, and, you're just helping us out, keep the show going. But they have all their breast cancer awareness shirts coming out, pretty much just all pink. Anything that they sell right now, pretty much pink. I'm still trying to get the Princess Jacob on buying a John Cena the Keep Calm, Never Give Up, but she's not sold on it yet, so I'm still working on that.
If you go to WWE shop, they have a Halloween section with a bunch of masks. You get the sheep mask. You can get like Sting face mask. And I want to buy one, Jonathan, in honor of our youth when we used to buy them and then paint them red in honor of the red and black.
Yeah. Now, are you going to go Halloween this year's coming up? Speaking of that, are you going WWE Halloween costume or are you got anything going?
I want to so bad. I keep pushing. I want to be Wade Barrett.
Then
I want Katie to go as Paige, but she refuses to wear the outfit. So
I am going with. I'm buying a. No, I'm going with a referee shirt. I'm going to buy a referee shirt. I've always wanted one. I'm going to get one WWE patch on it and go as a referee. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
That would be pretty sweet. What's the princess going as?
She is going Boy Meets World as Mr. Feeney. So we've been on a Boy Meets World kick as of lately, and she's going as George Feeney. So,
Pillow in the stomach too. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but she's going as the Feeny. But birthdays, we not a whole lot of birthdays. Really, just one that came up to us on October 2nd. So or actually today, the Yokozuna, he would have been 48 years old. So big guy that passed before his time, but would have been 48.
Mm-hmm. Well, on September 29th, for our anniversary week of 2003, RVD defeated Christian in a ladder match on Raw for the IC title, the Intercontinental title. And you really don't see ladder matches on Raw anymore.
You don't see, unless I guess the Intercontinental Championship match is about the only thing that transfers on Raw as well, because we've seen that recently. But you're right, you don't see these big matches. You see a cage match occasionally, and that's really about it. Now, we've been doing the ESPN Elimination Challenge recently. We didn't get into it last week, and I could care less if we even do this stupid thing anymore. But I thought I'd go smart, and I picked my pick 2 weeks ago, and I went with the Redskins over the Giants because the Giants were looking awful. They had new quarterback coming in for the Redskins. This is going to be awesome. 30-point blowout. What a joke. Way to lay an egg, Redskins. So this week, instead, I'm going with the Chargers over the Jets. So I'm going to hope that the Jets stay a dumpster fire and that the Chargers will pick up a win over at home. Who do you got this week, Jacob?
Well, I'm okay if we keep doing this because I'm a perfect 4-0 going into week 5. I have the Philadelphia Eagles going over the St. Louis Rams. That will be a great game. It's not a easy, they're only 1-2 kind of pick because they are just, I guess, 1-2. But Eagles will win, no doubt it.
Eagles win. All right. Well, hopefully you'll get some losses. Like you're undefeated. I'm 2-2, but it's a long season, so hopefully we'll get some change on that. Now, to go with almost more back to the WWE shop items, we hopefully sooner than later will have our own Harrell Wrestling Talk merchandise that you will be able to purchase. We're looking forward to getting you guys some more information on that in later to come dates. So now to close out the show, we'll Jacob, what do you got? Challenge or rant or anything you got going this week? I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock for you.
Yeah, I was on Hulu and I was watching, and the Today Show had a section about sexy Halloween costumes. And my challenge goes out to all the idiots that would buy a sexy Olaf Halloween costume for girls. Why do you have to always be sexy? I mean, why? I mean, you're going to be Obama. You're going to be sexy Obama. I mean, come on. You don't have to show skin. Sometimes it's okay to be like just a bear, or maybe be Chewbacca, where you have to put on a whole bunch of stuff because not all guys just want to see skin. Are you with me, Jonathan?
I'm against you. I'm throwing my card out the window right now. I had something else. That's going to get put to next week. 30 seconds on the clock for me. Go sexy. Go slutty. I'm even going to throw it that way. You know what? It's Halloween. It's one night. The princess is going to have to go with sexy George Feeney now, because that sexy Olaf, man, that sounds like a good costume to me. I'm actually going to have to look that up to see what that entails, because this is Halloween. When do you ever get to dress this way? You don't want to see skin, Jacob. You're not going trick or treating with a little girl. You want to see your future wife as sexy Paige, sexy whatever. That, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, she could go as Trish Stratus, and then I can go as Triple H. She could help me stretch, if you remember that.
Yeah, so you're not hoping for Olaf with a big blow-up fat costume. You're hoping for something, sexy Olaf.
Yeah, see, I was thinking get a Paige Barrage t-shirt and walk around and try to speak in my awful English accent.
You're going to go Sexy Barrett, aren't you? And go with maybe
That's right.
like...
I'm going to go with the Speedo and just a T-shirt.
There you go.
T-shirt, and then I'll buy an IC title belt, the toy one.
All right.
Thanks for listening to another production of HWT Network. Please make sure you listen to all of our upcoming events. On Thursdays, we have our HWT podcast, and on Fridays, we have our Reality of Wrestling report. You can find us on Twitter at HWT Podcast, on Facebook at HWT Podcast, and YouTube/HWT Podcast. Please feel free to comment, send us messages, email us at Harrell, Harrell, Wrestling Talk at Outlook.com. Last advice we will give you before we leave: if your girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, or husband says you watch too much wrestling, tell them that's impossible. Till next time, Wrestling World, keep listening and keep watching.